Hello, Sweet Tooth here. I hope your day is going well. Gonna play some Katawa Shoujo. I'm just gonna say that as wrong as possible. Anyways, where did I leave off? This one, I guess. Oh right, yeah, my comma outburst. Anyways, let's pick this up. I downed the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepared to head out to class early, as usual. As I step into the hallway, I notice Kenji come around the hallway corner, stealthily, making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me soundlessly, like a ninja hiding in plain sight, I call out to him. Hey! He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh, hey, man. I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it would be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decide to not point out that he is not wearing a hat. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open slowly, releasing a creaking sound into the air that only makes the moment seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside his room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out a test date. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just wanted to know when the next test day was. I'm still going to take it, duh. I need to know so I know what day I can't afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. Why do you have to go out when you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Nah, I don't use phones. I don't have a phone. Phones. I have no phone. Why don't you have a phone? How can you not have a phone? No phone at all? No phone? I just don't like phones. I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past. Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head. Well, where else could I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass? Unexpectedly logical, I feel very depressed now. Sensing this conversation is more or less over, Kenji opens his door again and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm going to sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is going to start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? Whoops. I accidentally bought two because I thought the store had started selling individual AA batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair, finally letting me go to the class. For a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces by now, though the names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Mutao finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday. Please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone burst out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. I didn't even click on anything. The remainder of the sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Mutao deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Hisao! I'm going to make you a one-time only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunch boxes and the privilege of enjoying them in private with two bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Emmy strikes a very confident-looking pose as though as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her most very modest chest and making the V for victory sign with her hand. Right. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited? See, I don't believe something like this would happen. It's unbelievable right here. You stood there looking really lost and sad, so nobody acts like that. And so I thought you could use some company. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. Yes! Goodbye! I'm kidding. Sure, I'll have your lunch offer. With pleasure. No, hell no, I'm out of here. Let's go to the roof. No! The roof? No! Why the roof? I am not going. Because that's where we eat lunch. What if I don't want to? And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off, and then I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me. No! Without answering my questions or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. That's kind of the way that the whole Act 1 has been. Grab your arm, drag you along, and just listen to the conversation. Why do you have an extra lunch? Emmy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat it. Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. See, this is what I mean. I know how to pronunciate this, I know what it means, but not a lot of people do. You're going to lose a lot of readers with this right here. Dilapidated crap. Alright? At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek and hello. Yipes, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she? Rin's long-lost sister. You already said that, Rin. Get something else in your vocabulary. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other. We do not. I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? No friend of mine. Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. She doesn't. We don't know each other. At all. Never happened. The awkward silence lasts only a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle Shrugging. The coincidence. Ah. See, that's how you do an awkward silence. I invited Hassel for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. I'm out of here. Leave. 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 Can I just leave? What the hell is this comma doing here? That's horrible. That shouldn't be there. Oh, does this mean I don't get food? No, you starved today. Go sit down and think about what you've done. Right there, right in that corner. Oh, does this mean I don't get any food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Why not 4? It would be an even number. Nice thinking. Not really. I don't even want to be on this roof. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. Son of a bitch. Another fucking comma right there. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. I'm sorry, but my schools never had their roofs be popular. That never happened. A few run-down benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. Fucking comma! The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. Palpably. Very unnecessary. You don't need this. You don't need it. You don't need it. No! The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run out to catch a bus like their life depended on it or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. Improper use of a semicolon. You would think that this goes off of the same idea in order to specify it in a different way, but it really doesn't. This sentence is not exactly like this sentence. The semicolon has no use right here. You're not describing this sentence in another way. That's the only use for a fucking semicolon. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only 1 short year. 2 fucking commas. That are just... You don't need them. You don't need them. This sentence just needs to be shortened. You don't need this even. You don't need that other crap either. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine. I look at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only 1 short year. No, that doesn't work. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine. And as I look around at my hometown, even if it's... No, that doesn't work either. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only 1 short year. This second part seems so unnecessary right here. It just seems like it was made to make the sentence longer. So it should be like, I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown. Yeah, this is just completely unnecessary. We already know. Well, we don't really know it was 1 short year, but you can use that somewhere else. Just get out of this. Take all this and just throw it away. Throw it somewhere else. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open what? I feel warmth touching my back. What? What? The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. There's clouds. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. You don't need the comma. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Ren in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Asao, what are you waiting for? I'm correcting all the fucking grammar. Grammar. She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. You don't need the fucking comma. Oh shit, now they're closer. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go, lunch, as promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks, I make it myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth using only her feet. I thought you said that the table was really, really small and cramped. So is she still able to do that? Wouldn't she fall off of the table? Or the chair? Whatever. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. Well, she's actually right next to you doing this crap now. It's a little weird now. It's also a reminder of the sort of a place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. How does she push off her shoes or something? Does she wash her feet before she does that? Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? No, it doesn't, you stupid son of a bitch. Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? You don't understand anything about that. You keep questioning their normalcy. Yes. Never mind. Calm down. Just calm down. I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. Unnecessary comparison. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite. We know you run. Which is great because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. That's cool. Helps me keep my girlish figure. I suppose so. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? You're pretty much a man, Rin. I very nearly choke on my lunch, trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech and don't insult women. Man. You don't insult women, even if you look like a man. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this? Like what? I think that answered my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer this question. Someone in the house, she ran straight into her. Someone in the housing department thought that we'd complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Complement each other. Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together and we've got all our limbs. Get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious makes me slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm gonna just stop talking right now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. In more ways than one. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Amy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. That was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs his straw through the top of the box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sort of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. What a jackass. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. She's ignoring it. Whether or not that's a conscious decision or not is another matter. Leave it alone! I'm honestly not sure. It doesn't matter. Shut up about it. So, Hasao, how do you like it up here? I don't want to be up here. It's quite nice, actually. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I've been staring at you two for like far too long right now. It's quite nice, actually. I like high places. For the view! I'm not saying thank you. And for the lunch, too. Especially the lunch, I'll say thank you for that. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Okay. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? Deserved. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Ren and I will just keep eating lunch all alone. I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen at Mimi Pups. Kidding! I was kidding. I love to eat lunch up here again. The location and the company's okay too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now? No, it doesn't. Or at least acquaintances. Maybe. Thank God I could get out of here! The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Back in commas. Ren, you did it.
Finish your lunch again. I wasn't hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away.
Ren shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. Hallelujah, I'm off the roof. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school. So I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slot into the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it. Quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Sorry, Yuko, didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I am used to it by now. Can I help you? It's okay, I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Yeah, holy crap, she is there. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decided against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books again and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. Are we done? Are we done? We done yet? Whew. 4 hours. 4 hours. I'm still on Act 1. Okay, by the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their own homes and dorms. Improper use of a semicolon. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. After passing through and rounding the corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and tapping of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Katawa? That's me! She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise. Good evening, what brings you here? Once again, she gives a small polite bow, and once again I reply in kind before realizing that I needed to do so. Just going into town? You? My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost. That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me. Not lost, but worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a sigh of relief. Thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reader? Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit. Whew, so much reading. Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remained silent as we quietly continued to walk down the quiet road. Tack tack, tack tack. With a road bereft of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. Tired? I've been running ragged these past few days. Reading all this shit. Ugh. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. Would you just get over it? Gosh, she's brought this up like 25 times on how it's all different. Such a difference. Stop it. Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. It has, you just won't get over it. I want to go in the game and just slap him. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things. For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess, Yamaku's kind of different though. I mean the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it though in time. As much as you bring it up, you're never going to get over it. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with Class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case. Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude on such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Arrgh! Whew, gotta take another breath. So much reading. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speak up about something else. So where in town were you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. It's a nice painting. I mean, this looks very realistic. It's just when I look at the tree, I can tell this was painted. That's really well done. See, like this shows that it was painted. I mean, either that or they used some kind of cover when they took a picture, but I think that was painted or something. Drawn. That's really nice. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, it doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions, again. I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way. Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself. Looks like I'll be in your care again. Thanks. Together we walk to the store. My pace is carefully slow to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here, it takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she'd had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it'd be my pleasure. I grabbed two well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handed one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it up in her right hand. Why am I pronouncing it like that? Reading too long. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane. Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers. Is this alright? Yeah, that's fine. You're just trying to figure it out. I have no reason not to accept. I can't think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it is out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store with not one of the occasional passing customers seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily and find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for and put her items into their respective baskets. I guess it's the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right, all that's left is the bread and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then! With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we both paid for our food and are out the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment I try to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my two. You tired as well? The festival preparations have been complete chaos. Shizuan breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right? I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow. That's for certain. I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin! What are you doing out here so late? Rin? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Rin! Tezuka! I think was her last name from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated-looking expression, something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and a painful cringe. Ah, I understand. I guess Lily knows Rin too. Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't not acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie, or a statue. A statue of a zombie. But slowly, that's a weird comparison. But slowly some symptoms of understanding seem to lighten her in her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Rin blinks once, very thoroughly.
Hello.
There is an awkward pause. Everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing here this late?
I was wondering about that myself, too. just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed they were wondering the same. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. A mystery, murder mystery, without a murder. They were going that way.
She turns her face into her right in order to demonstrate the direction the other people went to, as if that was important, then rotates back like a mechanical puppet into one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Rin really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I said nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are in fact just scared. Come on, you fucking telemarketers. But any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't face Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. I seem to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if full elephant-grade sedatives were flowing in her veins in the place of blood. Another weird, out-of-place comparison. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of that sort, though. No, I don't think that's that. The other passerbys were probably just worried, though. You do look really lost, the way you're standing in the middle of the street.
Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose. In that case,
I'll ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further, or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on it later. It seems that most of the time it's better to not read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess. I'm just gonna skip this. Even if I win, it feels like I'm losing. Blah 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 blah. Damn, it's just like Tenjin said. Even when I lose, it's the power of the girls of Yamaku. I push the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kinji's anti-female propaganda getting to me. So much reading. Yeah! Maybe taking another pause might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here. She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. You son of a bitch, I'll get you. I'll get you for talking to me like that.
I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea.
That sounds like progress, at least. Lily sounds as if she's spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism.
Yes, there is some, definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons.
The ensuing silence kills Lily's hopes all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rin's, as far as I can tell, based on assurances aside, what should be done? I don't know. We could just leave her to her own devices. Exactly, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting anything if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she was doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. Lily is oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if it's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So, I assume you were going somewhere. Not coming back to the school. Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock, and she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act reversed for situations like this.
Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique.
No? What? Why would you think that?
You knew what I was doing.
It was just an educated guess. We walked the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the other way.
Oh.
She looks a little disappointed. Just a little. Can you tell? Like Kenji, Rin appears too quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. Maybe. Maybe the water. Somebody's poisoned the water hole, huh? Too much reading. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked if I was a mind reader! Do I really give off that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know, maybe you should come back with us. Back to school. You know, where we get our education and we go to the festival in 2 days. I'm blind, you know. I need help. I need help getting back. We need to stop talking. We need to get back to school. It's already dark. I can just sense it. Even if I can't see it. I need to get back. Lily interjects just as I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face so badly disguising a fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's entirely inane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods.
Okay.
We start towards the school again, having wasted away more time than necessary with this episode. I've wasted a lot of more time with necessary with this episode. If you can call this an episode. Red walks along the edge of the sidewalk in a rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer. Another weird comparison. Thank you for that. I'm just gonna look at the moon, because that's a lot more interesting than this. While Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Well, this is actually pretty interesting. Tap, step, step, tap, 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 step, step, step. There we go. Apart from that and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. Quite apart from the relaxing one in T-Town at that. So how's the mural going?
We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about work in progress.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Bad luck.
Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place. For the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamako rests on top is surprisingly steep. Going uphill. We slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there! I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I'm blind. What if if every time you talked to her, she just did that? She just... What if every single time you struck up a conversation with Lily, she just reiterated the fact that she was blind? You know, I would love that, you know? Just stand in the doorway of class 3-3 and you're like, I don't know, it sounds like, what do you want, Lily? I'm blind. Okay. I resist the urge to say, aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment I see she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway. Is everything alright? Alright? How do you mean? I'm ecstatic, enthusiastic, and energetic. The fact that I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off. For a second. 1 second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Oh boy. I finally got a choice. Ooh, I finally got a choice. How long am I into this video? Oh! 50 fucking minutes. I don't really want to talk about it. Sorry, I'm not in a very good condition. The first choice I've been given is 50 minutes of reading, and it's not even a fucking choice. Oh, wait, it is a choice. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition. It's alright, I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh. Is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean... She cuts herself off, rather abruptly. Maybe she's realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Back off, intrusive lady! Her instincts are sharp, though. Sharp like a cutlery knife. Whackety whack, tap tap. Knife, step. Step, knife. Step. And while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought... Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No! It's okay! Rin has been staring at me the entire time. I have a pretty, I guess the best way to put it would be messed up. Heart. Heart is my power. Now you know my disability. I'm one of the ring bearers of Captain Planet. And my power is heart. Son of a bitch. Now you know why I'm at Yamaku. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it, and spent most of the spring in a hospital, ended in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway... I grimace slightly. I grimace. 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 Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Always worry about it. Every single day, I want you to wake up. I want you to go to sleep and think about my arrhythmia. And then wake up and be like, oh no, he's got a problem. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize their futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Thank goodness. Are we done? Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her Merle as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all of the walk back that I had all but forgotten she was here.
It's Friday, isn't it?
Yes, Friday, the 8th of June.
This is bad!
Bad? Why?
I think I'm going to go in a fetal position and throw up. Possibly in reverse order.
Is something wrong?
No! Nothing is wrong. It's Friday and nothing is wrong yet. This Merle is gonna be need to be finished by Sunday. So everything's alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good. Not good.
So she's behind her schedule. Recalling Sharzun's exasperation at Rin's carefree attitude several days ago, I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a told you so, unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her Merle, looking as mortified as she can.
Leave me. I'm going to need to work for a while.
I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I rolled my eyes. But then I realized she's not one to do that kind of thing.
Leave me.
We do, of course, because that was a pretty scary way to say that. All quiet. Not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just hard to say. Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion melodiously. That's actually a beautiful word that I have not seen in a very, very long time. I've always liked this word. Melodiously. Nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight apologetic smile as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her, at all. Lily let slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for company, herself. She smiles very sweetly at me, and it feels different than normal, despite the fact she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is, it's just different. Relaxed, I'd say, but that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin. Maybe. Yeah! Good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. Yeah. Oh, Act 1 is still going. Oh, come on, man. Shit. Alright, anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I want to thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. I hope you have yourself a good day. I love you. And this is Sweet Tooth signing off.